They are a fixture of rural Nebraska, particularly along railroad corridors. They are identifiable by their rail loop tracks and rail sidings, concrete, steel, and climate-resistant ground storage for grain, state-of-the-art grain loading and unloading facilities, and consolidated dry and liquid fertilizer and farm chemical terminals. It is difficult to believe that shuttle train loading facilities, which have become ubiquitous with agricultural cooperative systems in Nebraska, did not exist in the early 1980s. That was until a railroad man by the name of Bill Sebree arrived on the scene, and Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, or NIK Non-Stock Marketing Cooperative, was created, which transformed how grain was shipped by Nebraska's agricultural cooperatives.
You know, back in the early 80s, before we started shipping unit trains, at harvest time, we just pile grain, and sometimes not knowing when it was going to get picked up. And so we had a lot of big corn piles, and at that time we had a lot of grain sorghum on the ground, and you picked it up as you got your 27 or whatever cars, 54, but you never knew when they were going to come. You could be promised the cars, but you may not see them. And you know, at that time, the capacity of the railroads didn't have what they have, you know, by any means, cars and stuff like that. So that's when we all kind of bought into owning and leasing our own cars. And under Bill's guidance, you know, on the through NIK, we had BN cars, UP cars, and the beauty of the leasing companies was, as we had more shippers, we could lease more cars without the risk of not being able to load them, because we could let somebody else load our cars for us. So if a BN shipper couldn't load at his destination one week, he could ship it down the road, maybe to an Edison or to Holdrege or somewhere, and they would load it. And same way on the UP, you know, if you couldn't load it because you didn't have enough grain in position, you could again go to another NIC member who was in the pool with cars.
After his honorable discharge from military service in the United States Army in 1961, Bill went to work for the Chicago Northwestern Railroad Company, first in northeast Nebraska, then as manager of customer service for Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. In 1980, Bill moved his family to Kearney, Nebraska, where, while working in the grain merchandising field, he began consulting with several Nebraska cooperatives regarding their rail shipping and grain marketing challenges. By the spring of 1983, 4 of these cooperatives, headquartered in Gibbon, Holdrege, Grand Island, and Exeter, Nebraska, formed NIK Non-Stock Marketing Cooperative with Bill Sebree as its general manager, a role he would hold for 20 years until his retirement in 2003. Combining his railroad experience with contacts in the rail industry with an understanding of the needs of NIK's member cooperatives, Bill pioneered the modern concept of 110 car shuttle train shipping, cooperatives working together to share the risk of railcar costs, and developed fertilizer purchasing and other programs that made NIK the model of the cooperative principle of cooperation among cooperatives, thus strengthening the Nebraska agricultural cooperative system.
So Bill provided for the first time, and NIK through their team provided market access for the first time for local cooperatives. And they did that through various programs with the Foster Commodities, through Mexican Contacts, OH Cruise program, different programs that they developed along with the member owners of NIK to access those markets. And it was a big deal. It was really it was a combining Bill's expertise in the railroad industry and through the opportunities we had with rail cars and the cars that those end users had, along with the opportunity for not just one company to come together and provide commodities, provide mostly corn, to those end user markets. So through his leadership and through the team and through the members, we came together, and it was a really good thing for cooperatives.
Bill Sebree's unique experience of finding a win-win strategy for cooperative grain shippers and railroads through developing rail car programs and shuttle train shipping was brought to the national stage when former Nebraska United States Senator Bob Kerrey asked Bill Sebree to help form the National Grain Car Council under the auspices of the National Surface Transportation Board. For the first time, a platform for shippers to engage rail companies to resolve rail transportation issues was created. Bill served on the National Grain Car Council from its inception in 1994 until his retirement in 2003.
Bob Carey, who called me, wanting me to help him get cars from some of the people that's been bugging him for more cars. He's telling me that people on the East Coast are having the same problem we are out here, cars, shortage of cars. And I says, what can we do to put something together to form some kind of a meeting, call it what you want, and you've got contacts, meaning Bob Carey, he's got contacts with senators on the East Coast, and get a meeting to get together with those people, and make it be the president of the railroad will have to. He says, I got some ideas, and he says, I'll only do it if you come to the meeting, meaning me. So I says, fine, I'll do that. So he started making calls, and that's how the Grain Car Council got put together.
With the experience and unique talent to bridge industries, find solutions, and provide transformative leadership, Bill Sebree has left a lasting impact on Nebraska's agricultural cooperative system.
Bill Sebree, without a doubt, belongs in the Nebraska Cooperative Council Hall of Fame, because it's really hard to find, in my opinion, an individual who did more for the co-ops in the state, not only the state of Nebraska, but throughout the Midwest. In the latter years, NIK, in addition to members in Nebraska, also had members in Iowa, Minnesota, Kansas, and Oklahoma. And there are many people and industries that affected all of our careers and our successes at the local cooperative level. From attorneys and co-op bankers to commercial brokers, independent grain companies, on and on and on. But no one person did more for the success of my cooperative and other cooperatives in the state who were members of NIK than Bill Sebree and NIK, without a doubt.
Congratulations, Bill Sebree, on your induction into the Nebraska Cooperative Council Hall of Fame on November 20th, 2024.